Imagine getting into your car and driving off with no destination in mind and no directions to follow, but still expecting to end up somewhere you want to be. It doesn't really make sense. I mean, sure, there's a chance you might randomly end up somewhere cool, but doing a little bit of planning before you hit the road would make it a whole lot easier to get there, right? Well, this is actually how a lot of us perfectionists operate. We keep going even when we don't know where we're headed because we're convinced that being in constant motion is the best way to make progress. When really, moving without direction is just a fancy way of being lost. And my friend, you do not have to be lost. You're listening to the Life Edit Project podcast, where recovering perfectionists get what they need to feel better, do better, and have better relationships. I'm your favorite coach and podcast host, Coach Elizabeth Burrows, and this week we're going to talk about why, when you feel too busy to figure out your life, that's exactly when you need to pause and figure things out. Ready? Let's go. Good day, good people. Welcome back to episode 113 of the show. Glad to have you here. As always, whether you are a new listener or a longtime listener, I appreciate you, and I'm glad you're here on my little corner of the podverse. Listen, we are already halfway through July. I don't know if you noticed, but time is balling, and I can't believe it. Like, summer's been nice, but I'm like scratching my head thinking, where is the rest of it? And, it's kind of been a weird season for me because, on the one hand, things feel a little laid back right now. It's summertime and I live in South Florida. And so the weather is really hot and humid and it feels sticky outside. And it's hurricane season. So that means we've got all the afternoon thunderstorms. And so when it gets like this, people here just make lots of excuses to not be outside. So we will work from home more often. We're going to cancel meetings. We're going to take any excuse to dress down, to start late, all of that, right? Because it's the summertime. But as downshifted as this season feels, there are also a lot of things for me personally that are kicking into high gear right now. So I am in the middle of my very first cohort of the Powerhouse Mindset Youth Training Program, which is a new 8-week group coaching program for teens that I created in partnership with my church. It's very exciting. I'm going to have to do a whole podcast episode about this in the future to tell you more about it. But for now, I'll just say it's been so much fun, but it has also been a lot of work. And that's because this is a brand new program and we're working on a steep learning curve to make it happen. It's not like the regular one-on-one coaching that I do. And you know what? Scratch that. It's not even like me sitting down to coach adults. It's just a very different program. And so it's been a challenge. Beyond that program, it's also a busy time for me at work. I'm under a lot of deadlines, which means, not just more tasks on my plate, but also more pressure and more structure to make sure that I get everything done. And so it's not a slowdown in that sense. And then also because my daughter is out of school, right? She's on summer break. She's got kind of this expectations that I should also have more free time to hang out with her and do more activities and just have fun. And so, of course, a lot of that fun translates into more things for me to plan and coordinate. So add that to the to-do list. And then, of course, there's just regular life, right? The things that never stop. Wife life, mom life, adulting, helping out my aging parents, trying to maintain friendships as a busy adult, self-care because I need to take care of myself, running this business, right? All of the things. And I'm not complaining. And I know that I don't usually talk this much about myself on the show, right? Like I share things, but I don't make these episodes about me. But I wanted to take a few moments to just put it all into context and let you know I get it. I know exactly what it feels like to have a lot going on, to be pulled in what feels like 100 different directions, and to always be behind on your never-ending to-do list, which also gets longer every time you look at it. And so in that way, we are the same. I get you. You are my people. Right? And also, I can't forget that I chose this. I chose everything about this life, right? I opted into my career. I opted into having a family and building my own business. I volunteered to hold certain positions and I opted into all of these things because I wanted them. But it's okay to admit that I'm also exhausted and I know that you can relate to that. Now, as a recovering perfectionist, I will also admit that I still struggle from time to time with the urge to just stay busy. And in those moments, it's important for me to check in with myself and make sure that I'm not staying busy because I'm afraid to not be going anywhere, to not be doing something. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. And so, going back to the analogy that I gave at the top of the show, if life is a journey, if it's like one giant road trip, it makes sense that from time to time you're going to need to pull over and recalibrate your GPS system because sometimes the destination changes. You are going to hit traffic jams and detours, or you might just get plain old lost. Suddenly, you look up and you realize that for the last 20 minutes, you've been driving on autopilot, just zoned out, but it going through the motions, and you have no idea where you are. Maybe you missed your exit. Maybe you took a wrong turn. Who knows? You weren't really paying that close attention, and none of where you are looks familiar. And so you can't even tell if you're lost. So when that's happening, when you're going full speed ahead, but you don't actually know where you're going, when the busyness of life gains its own momentum and it feels too dangerous to stop, that's exactly when you need to pull over. And yes, you might not want to slow down right now, but if you end up getting back on the road with a faster route that's going to take you to the same place, or if you choose a different destination, one that's closer and easier to get to, then taking a pause for the cause right now is going to be more than worth it. But I get it. You feel like you don't have time to stop. But my friend, if you keep going without direction, it doesn't matter how fast you go or how long you last. None of that traveling gets you anywhere. It just runs up your mileage and wastes your gas. You use up all of your time and energy, but you won't have anything to show for it. So here's how to make taking a break worth it, even when you feel like you don't have time to take a break. I want you to recalibrate your GPS because I'm going all in on this driving and destination analogy, okay? So GPS is going to be an acronym that helps you remember what to do. It's a very simple 1, 2, 3 process. You're going to get clear on what you want, pinpoint where you are now, and set a course forward. Let's go through those one by one. So first, you're going to get clear on what you want. When you're getting clear, I want you to take the time to ask yourself what it is that you want, and not just the big $1,000 question, what do I want to be when I grow up, right? You can get more granular than that. You can ask yourself, what do I want out of this phase of my life? What do I want out of this season of my life? You can look at a particular area of your life. What do I want out of this relationship? What do I want out of this particular job position? And don't worry about what you've been conditioned to think you should want. It's really, really important that you stay true to yourself and that you tune into what feels right for you deep down, that you really get clear on your personal desires, not just your conditioning. So important. The second step in this process is to pinpoint where you are now. And for this step, the honester you can be, the better it's going to go for you. Really, get super honest with yourself. Take inventory of not just how it is that you're spending your time, but how you are avoiding spending your time. Get super clear on not just the things that you're doing day to day, but the overall obligations that you've made, right? The commitments that you signed up for. Acknowledge the things that you do over and over again on autopilot, but also in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. What are the things that regularly get pushed to the side and deprioritized? This is a really critical step in the process. You have to take the time to see your situation clearly, to see your behaviors clearly, to acknowledge your patterns and get super honest about where you are, even if it's uncomfortable. And then the third step in the GPS process is to set a course to move forward. And this step is about making a plan. And I want to caution you, you do not need to have all the answers right up front. You don't need to have the whole journey planned out from A to Z. You just need to be able to figure out what your next best step is. And if you can figure out the next 2 or 3 steps, even better, but you don't have to have it all figured out. And you can only set a course forward once you've gotten clear on what it is that you want and where you are trying to go, and you are honest about where you are right now. You need those 2 things to plot a course, right? Think about it. When you're programming a GPS, like in your car, you have to tell it where you're headed, and you also have to pick a starting point. And that's the only way that it can give you directions to where you want to go. And it's the same here with life. You have to ask yourself, where is it that I want to be? Where am I right now? And then the next best question to ask yourself is just, what practical thing can I do to move myself closer to where I want to be? And please remember, start from where you are, not from where you wish you were, and not from where you think you ought to be. Start from where you are right now. That's the GPS system. Now, if you take the time to actually do this process and to set your GPS, it doesn't matter how busy you are, it's going to be time well spent. But yeah, I also know that if you're a perfectionist or a recovering perfectionist, the idea of interrupting your momentum to do something like this can feel really daunting. You're afraid of doing it wrong, or you're afraid of wasting your time. And if it's up to you, I know, friend, because I've been there, you will tell yourself you're going to do this, but you're going to keep putting it off, and you're going to roll it over from one week to the next in your planner. Been there, done that. So I'm going to save you from yourself. I'm here to help. Use the link that's in the show notes to sign up for a reset session with me. Now, the reset session is more than just this GPS framework that I'm giving you. My reset sessions are a 2-hour coaching intensive where I walk you through my signature 5-step process that will help you align your goals and your priorities with your calendar and your to-do list. You get to walk away from this reset session with a practical plan that you can follow. And not just the plan, but also strategies to help keep you on track even when life starts lifing, because we know it will. And not only that, you also walk away with a workbook that will allow you to guide yourself through the same reset process that we do together on your own anytime you feel like you need to refresh your reset. So, if you are too busy to slow down, you literally cannot afford to keep going without a reset. So, my friend, go to the show notes and use that link to book your session now. We can do this. All right, folks, that's all for this week. I'll be back in your ears next week with another juicy episode. In the meantime, check your GPS and make sure you're not lost. All right, peace.